Hello and welcome to Miss Bailey's Daily Dose. Today we are going to be learning to instruct. So we're going to be writing a set of instructions to make an African mask, linking with our topic of Africa. So masks in African culture are really, really important. They're important in their traditions and also religiously and spiritually. So they usually have religious or a spiritual meaning, and they come in lots of different bright, vibrant colours. So they've got red, black, orange, and in most traditional African cultures, the person who wears a ritual mask loses his or her human life. So as soon as they put that mask on, they turn into that different thing, that different person, and they turn into that spirit represented by the mask. This transformation of the mask wearer into a spirit usually relies on other practices, such as a specific type of music. So they might put the masks on and do a religious dance or a spiritual dance in the form of that spirit that they're becoming. And then there's lots of different types of masks. We're not going to go into those today because we're going to have a look at the instructions. So different types of African masks for different reasons, different religious celebrations as well for the different styles. So what you will need, you'll need a paper plate, you'll need some newspaper, some glue, a brush, paintbrush, glue brush, some poster paint, black, white and brown, some feathers, and there's some paper clips if you want them. So we're going to do some actions. First, gather your equipment together. So first, gather your equipment together. And Miss Bailey's even put a carefully in there, so you can put first, carefully gather your equipment together. Always start with gathering our equipment. Number 2, then. So we're going to do a big cup of tea, then. Grab, so you're grabbing something. Then, grab the paper plate. So then, grab the paper plate. You see that paper plate here? And carefully draw 2 eyes and cut them out. So you can see here, they've got a pair of scissors and they've made these oval shapes to cut out the eyes. So then grab the paper plate and carefully draw and cut out 2 eyes. I know I've put a pair of eye holes, but I'm changing it slightly to make it a little bit easier for you guys. So then grab a paper plate and carefully draw and cut out 2 eyes. 3. Now, so right now, take. So now, take some strips of newspaper. So you can imagine you're reading a newspaper. So now, take some strips. So strips like a long thin piece of newspaper. Imagine you're reading a newspaper. Comma, twist them. So we've got a few steps for the newspaper. We've got to rip some strips up. We've got to put them together. We've got to twist them. And form them into a mouth and a nose. So you can see those here. So they've got a bit at the top of the mouth, bit at the bottom of the mouth, and then they've got the nose, which is all one piece. Could have 2 pieces at the end. So now, take some strips of newspaper, comma, really important, twist them and form. So forms like when you're modelling almost. So you're modelling it into the mouth and the nose. And form them into a mouth and nose shape. So we've got first, gather your equipment together. Number 2, then grab the paper plate and draw and cut out 2 eyes. Now, take some strips of newspaper, comma, twist them and form them into a mouth and nose shape. Next, so we always have that X. So next, comma, get a paintbrush. So imagine you're painting the walls. Get a paintbrush, comma, brush on some glue to the bottom of the newspaper nose. So this is the newspaper nose here that you've just formed up the newspaper. You're going to put glue on it and you're going to stick up the paper plate. So next, get a paintbrush, comma, brush on some glue, so you're going to imagine that you're stuck to something because glue's really sticky, to the bottom of the newspaper, so imagine newspaper, like that, nose and mouth. So next, get a paintbrush, comma, brush on some glue to the bottom of the nose and mouth and attach them to the paper plate. Attach them means put them onto the paper plate. So next, get a paintbrush, comma, push on some glue to the bottom of the nose and mouth and attach them to the paper plate. Number 5. Once you have done that, so we have a number 1 for once you have done that, comma, wait patiently for it to dry. So dry, we imagine that we're hanging it washing and we're waiting for it to dry. So once you have done that, wait, we can do number 4, wait for it to dry. Wait for it to dry. So imagine you're hanging up your washing. So we're going to wait for it to dry. We've just stuck the nose and the mouth on. After that, so number 6 now, after that, neatly, so we're going to imagine that you're folding something up very neatly, or maybe you're packaging something very neatly and tying a bow on it so it's nice and neat. Neatly paint your mask. So after that, neatly paint your mask with brown poster paint. So you can see it's brown here all over using your paintbrush. So after that, neatly paint your mask with brown poster paint. So brown poster paint all over it. Woods. So afterwards, use white paint. So we're going to do W for white and then paint, imagine you're painting, to decorate your mask with dots and stripes. So you can see here we've done dots round, we've done stripes near the nose, all the way around on this lovely mask. So afterwards, use white paint to decorate. For decorate, we'll imagine we'll put in decorations up. If it was your birthday, putting balloons up, putting banners up. To decorate with dots and stripes. So afterwards, oh, see Miss Bailey forgot to put your mask. So afterwards, use white paint to decorate your mask with dots and stripes. Try using the opposite. So on your paintbrush, you have the brush bit at the bottom, the opposite bit, if you turn that round and dip that in your white paint, then you will be able to see the dots really nice and they'll all be exactly the same size. That's how they've done it here. So they've turned their paintbrush upside down, they've used the end at the top, they put it in the white paint and then they've dotted it round. It makes perfect circles. So try using the opposite tip. So try using the opposite tip of the paintbrush to make the dots. And I want you to imagine that you're making dots in the air. Or you could use your fingers. Okay, so or you could use your fingers to make those dots if you want larger ones. So afterwards, use white paint to decorate your mask with dots and, see Miss Bailey, stripes. Try using the opposite tip of your paintbrush to make the dots, or you could use your fingers. Finally, so the last one, number 8, finally, add some feathers. So I want to imagine you're a chicken and you've got feathers, or you're a bird. So add some feathers to your mask. So finally, add some feathers to your mask. Remember to make it colourful. So you can see this beautiful one here that somebody's made with all the lovely feathers, including the peacock feathers. So lots of colour for the African mask. So finally, add some feathers to your mask. Remember to make it colourful. and they are your instructions. So now you're going to see whether you can write those instructions out using the format from before. So starting right at the beginning. So we're going to have a go now at trying to write our instructions for how to make an African mask. So you need your equipment. So we've got glue, we need scissors, we need a paper plate, we need feathers, we need a paintbrush, we need paint, I think that's all we need. We've got glue, scissors, paper plate. Oh, we might need a pencil to actually draw the eyes as well. Oh, we need newspaper, silly Miss Bailey. Newspaper as well. So, once we've done our equipment, we're now going to be going on to the actual instructions. So if I draw some lines out here. So, when we start writing the instructions, we want to number them so it's nice and easy for the reader to see. And they understand that that's the first instruction. So we're going to start with our bossy verb first. And remember, your big capital letter is larger. And we need a bossy verb after first. First, gather. So gaff. And then on the end. Finger space in between. Your. Finger space. Equip. So qua for queen. Ip. And it's meant at the end. Nt. First, gather your equipment together. And that's one word. So to, geth, and a full stop at the end. Number 2 does not start in this line. It goes underneath. So number 2. Then. And again, after that bossy verb, you need that comma. Grab your paper plate. And carefully. Now you can use whatever adverb you like for how you're going to be drawing and cutting out the eyes. Let me draw another line. So then grab your paper plate and carefully, or then neatly, or then precisely. Think about what adverbs you'd like to use. Then grab your paper plate and carefully draw. So draw, or as in yawn at dawn. Draw 2 eyes and cut them out. And a full stop in the end. And then you can carry on. So underneath would be number 3. And you can keep writing your instructions. So have fun writing up your own instructions for making African masks.